Hello everyone, welcome back to our classroom and the start of week 7. Hello. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Mariely Sanchez and I'm a 4th grade teacher in South Florida. And today is the first Monday of October 4th, 2021. I'm coming to you at the end of the day. And so I don't sound so repetitive. I think I'm just gonna touch upon highlights of every day so that you can see what I am doing. I'm still gonna show you our agenda so you have an idea of what we were working on. But I may not show you every single little thing that we did. So that way we just focus it on some highlights. This morning we started with our weekly review as always from One Stop Teacher Shop. And we started a new Wonders unit. I do have to say though that before we started the Wonders unit, we wrapped up reading that passage for social studies from last week, where we only read about Walt Disney, but we didn't have time to read about Lou Gingong and Thomas Alva Edison. So today we read about those two, finished up that passage, and summarized the key points of it before we started our introduction for this new unit. So of course we watched the opener video, which goes over the essential question, and we're looking at animal adaptations and what they do to survive. So I did a read aloud and we read the shared read. We went over the vocabulary, and then it was time for bonus reading, where we were working with the letter group 1. In writing, we gathered evidence from our sources, and in math, we did the weekly review, followed by some multiplication practice. We didn't have time for our review test, so they will be working on that tomorrow. Then it was lunch, recess, PE, followed by science, where they took a test on Earth and space and time, and I introduced our new topic on rocks, minerals, and soil. So we are now starting a new science topic where students are going to learn about the rock cycle, the different types of soil. Then we're going to go into weathering and erosion and natural resources. So it's going to be a really great chapter, and I can't wait to do activities with the students for that. So we didn't do that much today as far as science, since they were taking a test. And the only way that I introduced this topic was through a video through their online science book. But I wanted to show you what I put together for homework this week, since I meant to show you last week and I didn't. So here it is. I have been doing these little half sheets where it pretty much has a checklist so students can check off the homework assignments they have for the week. I give them pretty much all these homework assignments the first day of the week, and they're due on the last day of the week. The only one that I told them that I will not pull the report from was from iReady until next Monday. So they technically have until Sunday night to get their 45 minutes for reading and for math. So let me just show you the rest of this packet. This is the first week that we're going to have spelling. So this comes from Wonders, and my students have up to the challenge words. So they have 25 words that they need to work on. We're working on prefixes, so most of these have prefixes. So they practice writing them down so that they know how they're spelled. And then they have some additional activities where they're categorizing them based on the prefix. And then they're looking for the meaning of the words and the definitions. And they're also doing a proofreading activity where they are correcting the spelling and using some words to write a story. For math, they're doing this weekly math log, which is something that I have created. And last week they started with week 6. So it was the first time that they did it, but I decided to start in week 6. Every day they practice these math fluency facts. And as we keep going through the chapters, obviously the division and the multiplication will get more challenging with 2-digit by 2-digit, 3-digit by 2-digit, etc., so that they can practice those skills. In addition to that, I got these practice pages from education.com. I did get a membership so that I can have access to a lot of different activities along with these practice sheets. So here they're using a vertical number line to round, and here they're practicing or continuing to practice multiplication using the area model. So that pretty much is our homework assignments for this week, along with the online homework assignments, which includes their iReady, their My On Reading, and their Reflex Math. that's pretty much the highlight that I wanted to focus on today, because everything else is pretty repetitive from what I have shared in the past. And if there's anything else that comes up in the week, I will definitely let you know. But for now, it is quite late, and I just finished my data debriefing paper because tomorrow we have a data chat for reading since all the iReady AP1 diagnostic results are in. So I just finished that. Let me grab my things and go home, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, welcome to Tuesday. So let's get right to it with our agenda. All right, so in the morning, as always, we start with our weekly review. We reread the shared read animal adaptations, took annotations, and started working on a mid-idea details and summarizing graphic organizer that I'll show you in a minute. And we also analyzed text features within our reading writing companion. It was time for bonus reading in Spanish, and we worked on gathering evidence. So we did finish gathering all the evidence in our writing, but we ran out of time to write our strong introduction, so that'll be tomorrow. In math, I actually had to go to a meeting, so the students worked on the weekly review and the chapter 2 review. Lunch for bonus math, I actually gave the students that don't meet with me a choice between doing reflex math or the color by number, which I'll show you in a moment. Music, and then in science, we watched the video on minerals and started reading through the lesson. We didn't have time for the physical properties of minerals, so we're going to work on that tomorrow as well. We also got another letter because today we got perfect attendance. So this is our shared read animal adaptation. So as you can see, we were working on our annotations here in the margin, circling the central idea, underlining supporting details, etc., and finding the details that were the most important so that we can write our summary for this particular section. We continued on to the other pages doing the same, looking at this text feature and seeing what sentence connected that text feature to the text. And we also looked at the text features over here and the text in order to find out the alligator adaptations. So with that, we went ahead and completed this graphic organizer that I made on the fly. So it starts with the topic, followed by the main idea, 3 supporting details that tell us more about the main idea, and use that information to write a short summary about the entire text. As you can see, this is our focus standard for this week, main idea details with summarizing. It's actually for this week and next week. And then, like I said, I had my small group time for reading, and we went ahead and continued with our writing lesson. So for writing, we went ahead and finished our gathering evidence organizer. These 3 things we had done yesterday, so now it was only a matter of looking back at the sources that are right over here. So this is source 2 and 3. And on the previous page, this is source 1. So we were looking for relevant evidence that supports each of these reasons from the different sources. And now that the students have gathered the evidence, it's time to take it to writing, which of course we'll do tomorrow. Math, of course, they worked on their own since I was at a data meeting, and I will go ahead and review that chapter 2 review tomorrow with doing an Attack the Castle game. I'm pretty sure they'll enjoy that. And that takes us to our extra math, which I already went over. And in science, we watched the video for the minerals and started reading through the lesson. So this is our lesson right here with our I can statements. Learning how this circuit board is made up of rocks and minerals was really interesting for the students. And then we started going over the 3 types of rocks, which we have igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And I started showing different examples, obviously, of sedimentary rocks. And igneous rock over here, that's obsidian, and slate over here. So this is what we went over. We ran out of time. So tomorrow we'll continue with the rock cycle and learning about minerals, how we classify them, and how they make up soil as well. Since I have a lot of students that play Minecraft in my room, of course they made a connection to Minecraft every time we mentioned different types of rocks like obsidian and sandstone. So it was a really great way to have the students connect that to something that they can relate to in another part of their lives. All right, so that is all that I have for you for today. I'm gonna gather my things and I'm gonna head home, so I will see you tomorrow. Hello everyone, and welcome to Wednesday. It's the middle of the week and I'm coming to you at the end of the day, but as you can tell, it's not from my classroom. So today was one of those days that you're like, what kind of year are we living in right now? Because everything seems so topsy-turvy. So the day started out like normal, and I'll run down a little bit tomorrow of what we ended up planning for today. But at lunchtime, which my students have lunchtime a little bit later on Wednesdays at 12:35 instead of 12:05. And also Wednesdays is early release, so everybody leaves at 1:50. When I took them to lunch and I dropped them off, the fire alarm went off. And if you remember from last week's vlog, it went off last week as well. Apparently there is something that they need to come and fix, but the students were outside for 40 minutes, therefore missing their lunch. So by the time we went back in and I went to check up on them in the cafeteria, they told us to come back in 15 minutes. So I went back in 15 minutes. By the time we made it back into our classroom, it was time for dismissal, which we were out there for a while waiting for buses to come. And right after dismissal, the principal asked all the teachers to go to the cafeteria with all their belongings. She shared this amazing little starfish that she gave us, along with the starfish story in sparkly pearly paper, and letting us know how much she appreciated us, and basically treated us to ice cream sundaes. So there were ice cream there, and she said that we could plan in a place of our choosing because, again, fire alarm went off, the AC goes off in all the building until someone comes and resets the system. So very grateful for that. Sitting in my car right now because traffic has been kind of tight and it's starting to get a little bit better now. But yeah, so I'm actually leaving very early. It's like 2:40 right now. I could have left at 2:30, but traffic was really bad. So I just been staying in my car with the air conditioning going. But tomorrow I'll let you know how our day went today and what kind of activities I planned for today. So I will see you tomorrow. Back in the classroom, it is now Thursday. So like I mentioned, I just wanted to go over the agenda and the highlights for Wednesday. And it's in the morning, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I just got to my room and let's get going. So here was the agenda for Wednesday. As you can see, pretty much same thing, weekly review. We always start with that. And we were finishing our main idea graphic organizer, which I showed you from Tuesday, and we did a vocabulary review. So I do want to show you the vocabulary map that I used, and then we ran out of time. So we're going to go ahead and do the summarizing and text features, center idea details, and responding to reading today. We had our bonus reading, which is my intervention group, and we went over letter groups 1 and 2. And we had our recess and snack time, followed by writing. We actually ended up writing our strong introduction, but we didn't have time for the first body paragraph. And I have an idea to use colorful paper to help the students get excited about writing this particular essay. So more on that later today. In math, we actually started with our weekly review. It's not here, but I did do that. And then we went into our chapter review, which we did attack the castle on Jamboard again. And we didn't finish. We were supposed to continue after lunch, but again, fire drill and everything else got shifted, which means that we didn't get to do science. So hopefully today I can steal 30 minutes from social studies to make sure I touch upon the properties of minerals and show them a rock cycle video. So very ambitious, but we're gonna try and go for it. So we went over the vocabulary for this particular unit, and the students had discussions about each word. We also went over prefixes, which all of our spelling words are also starting with prefixes, except some of them that are spiral review. And I gave them this graphic organizer so that they can choose 3 words from the 8 words and go ahead and complete a vocabulary map on it. I used the word extraordinary as an example because it has a prefix. So the students have to write a definition, use it in a sentence, and find a synonym and draw a picture that will help them understand the meaning of the word that they put in the middle. So today they're going to go ahead and finish because I didn't have enough time to do all 3. So that's what we have planned for today. For writing, I actually had the students write their introduction paragraph on an index card, So I wanted to do it a little bit different and incorporate something that they usually don't write on. So definitely put it on here. And some of them are not done, so they'll finish today during writing time, along with working on the body paragraphs for the essay that they're working on now. So another thing that I ended up doing was that I created my letters that I'm going to put in the rainbow pocket chart for our reward stickers. So I just put all the letters on one sheet of paper, and I'm going to cut them all out and individually put them in the pocket chart. So as you can see, reward stickers, and I will put them up here in the top pocket chart, and then in each individual slot, I will put different stickers, which, as you can see, we have a variety of them here. So I will go ahead and display some of the stickers on the pocket chart. Now, because I do need some extra seats in my guided reading table or my small group table, it's not just for guided reading, it's also for math, and I want to space them out, appropriately. I only have 4 chairs that I have sort of spaced out, but in my math group, I have about 9 students. So one solution that I did was that I went last night to IKEA and I picked up these. These are stools. Obviously, I'm going to assemble them and I'll show you how they look once I put them together. But these were only $5.99 and they come in black and white. All right, so that is basically the highlights that I wanted to share from yesterday, Wednesday. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase that agenda, change the schedule, the calendar, put the new agenda for today, and get ready to welcome students in about 20 minutes. We've made it to the end of the day, so let's go ahead and take a glimpse at our agenda and the highlights from the learning that we accomplished today. So here we go. Again, same thing. Started with our weekly review. The students finished working on the vocabulary map, and we summarized part of the text along with text features of our shared read. We went over central idea and details, and we ran out of time, so respond to reading will be moved for tomorrow. I met with my bonus reading group, and we went over letter groups 3, and I think we got to 4. Actually, I think we just made it to 3, but that's fine. The students then took a little assessment to show what they have learned from letter groups 1, 2, and 3. We went ahead and started working with our opinion writing essay, so I can't wait to show you what we did today with that. In math, we did do the weekly review, and we completed our chapter 2 review game. We did have to move it for our bonus math time, so instead of doing bonus math, we just finished the review game. The students absolutely loved it. They went to art, and in the afternoon, I know this was ambitious, we only got to the properties of matter and the rock cycle. So we're definitely going to leave this for tomorrow. An update on our attendance initiative. The students have earned a couple more letters, and now we're just missing 2 more to possibly win a class prize. This is basically a school incentive, so the first class that spells out the school name will receive a party of some type, whether it's an ice cream party or some other type of party. We'll see when that happens, but we don't know if it's going to be us because it could be another class. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the other highlights from today that match this agenda. So this is basically what we were working on today. So the skill of summarizing, and I tell them to break it down. So we start with the topic. The topic is the subject that the passage or section was about. So the one they had to do for water, please, was on alligators. The main idea was how alligators dig out holes to get water during the dry season. And they used that to help them summarize that section, adding another detail to complete it. We also went over photographs, captions, and headings, which are text features, and how we can learn more information and connect it back to the main text. So it's very important that they don't only just recognize that this is a picture with a caption, but they look at it and see what they can learn from it and how it ties back to the main text. Then, of course, we went over central idea and relevant details. So here's an example, and then they had to do it with the section on insects in the skies, where they had to fill in this graphic organizer. I have to say that little by little, I am seeing my students have little light bulb moments because they're starting to understand these concepts, and I'm letting them know that this is something that they can use for anything that they read. And whenever they think of summary, it might seem like a big task, but I told them that little saying that says, "How do you eat an elephant?" I said that to them. I'm like, we're not really eating an elephant. The elephant just represents a very big task. So how do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So how do we complete a huge task like writing a big summary summary, we take it one step at a time, starting with the topic, then going to the main idea, finding the supporting details, and then putting it all together in a paragraph. I tell them use your hand. So you start with your main idea sentence, which is the first sentence, and then you follow with detail, 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 and then a closing sentence. So main idea, detail, 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 closing sentence, and that is your summary. So that was really good. And then for writing, I remember that I showed you the little index card. By the way, there was an error there. I went back and I reread. When I wrote that, I was writing it really fast. But when I went back to revise, I noticed the error. So when I rewrote my introduction on the papers that I'm going to show you right now, I corrected it. So yeah, the error was in the last sentence here. But what I did is I printed these slips. So this one happens to be for the introduction. So I just gave this to the students and I had them rewrite their introduction here. And then I gave them a dark blue one so that they can start writing their body paragraph. Then after that, they're going to receive a light blue one, which I haven't cut out yet, but here it is, a light blue one. And if there are any students that are writing a third body paragraph, I will give them a purple paper, if not maybe orange, so that they can also add it to that. And then finally, they will have a conclusion paper, which is right here. I haven't cut it out yet, so that they can put it at the bottom. So basically, as students complete this, we're going to paste these together. And in the end, it's going to have all the different colors go all the way down to show the complete essay. And I'm using color because color activates the brain. It makes the brain really focus and pay attention. And the students actually enjoy this activity. I was trying to find a way to make it more engaging and see writing as something that is fun and motivating. So definitely, if you're thinking of something to do to get your students more excited about writing, maybe consider adding color to it. So that is something that I really enjoy doing, and we're going to continue working on it tomorrow. Since I told you that we played Attack the Castle, here are the results so that you can see how it progressed. I have to say the students really love working with this review game and trying to decide which castle they are going to attack as they answer questions correctly. Again, just wanted to remind you that you can even change the rules. And I was thinking about doing that today. So basically the rule is the castle with the least amount of attacks is the winner. But you can also flip it and say the castle with the most attacks is the winner because of any reason that you would put to it. So again, it's great to use review games and you can change the rules to your liking or whatever best fits your students' needs. For science, we went over the rock cycle. So I showed the students a Flocabulary video and we went over minerals and the properties of minerals just to give them an introduction before we start really taking notes down. But let me show you a glimpse of those two Flocabulary videos. So this is the section from Flocabulary that shows videos on Earth and space science. So right down here, let me scroll down a little bit. This is the types of rock video that I show them. And this is the minerals video that I show them because it went over the properties of minerals. And this one also talked about the 3 types of rocks and the rock cycle. Students are very interested in learning about rocks and how they form the world around us. And I actually have examples of different minerals that I will have them explore next week when we have more time for science, because as you saw, we didn't have time for social studies. So tomorrow, definitely big on social studies, making sure we take notes on the geographic terms and also wrap up chapter 2 so that we can then move on to chapter 3. So that is all that I have for today. I'll see you tomorrow, Friday. Hello, everyone. Future Marieli here. Yes, I am not coming to you from Friday. Friday actually was a whirlwind, but I did want to go ahead and finish off this week's video. I'm actually coming to you from the future, which is Monday, October 11th, but that is part of next week's vlog. So I wanted to let you know what we ended up accomplishing on Friday and some of the highlights for that day. So here is our agenda, and we did do the weekly review quiz along with the spelling test, but we ended up having to move these 3 things over for later because I ended up having to talk to my students about the 40 book challenge. It is something that I haven't done in a few years, but I want to encourage my students to read for fun and pleasure and really have a great time at it. So I am bringing the 40 book challenge to my students. So I spent a good chunk of our reading time going over what it is, what the expectations are, and this week the students will get their 40 book challenge folders so they can start tracking their reading. So I'll kind of give you a little glimpse of what I do with it, and then I'll give you more information later. But that's why we didn't end up doing these 3 things in reading. Then it was time for bonus reading, and we actually ended up not having time for writing. And that's mostly because all the students earned their reward stickers. So I want to show you the reward sticker pocket chart right now. And I spent time calling all of the students up to the sticker chart so they can choose one sticker. So the way that I'm doing it is for every 25-point increment in their dojo points, they get a sticker. But also for every 50-point increment, they get to spin the reward wheel. So it's great because every 50-point increment, it's also a multiple of 25. So whenever they get to spin the wheel, they also get a sticker. So the students are really excited about it. So let me show you that reward sticker pocket chart right now. Here it is, and I have talked about it before in my past vlog. This is a rainbow pocket chart that's meant to be for like calendar stuff that I got from Target in the dollar spot this summer. So the first 2 rows are Harry Potter stickers, then we have some Minecraft stickers, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, and some cutie stickers that are random. So these are the ones that I replenish. Students already picked up their stickers. And after they chose their stickers, I went ahead and I refilled the spots where there were missing stickers so that now when the students get their next 25 points, they have more stickers to look forward to. I also want to mention something from behind me. So these are magnetic pocket charts that I got from Amazon. And I want to go ahead and put in my essential question and my I can statement for every subject for the day or the week so that it is part of my common planning or my common board so that when administration comes in, they know what we're working on and the students also know the standard we're working on in I can statements. That will be for my homework board, so I will be putting that up sometime this week. This week for Present Me, next week for you. So make sure you check out the next vlog to see what I end up doing with that board. All right, so let's continue looking at our agenda. So since we didn't get to do that on Friday, we will go ahead and do it next week or this week. So in math, I completely forgot to give the weekly review quiz. So I'll try to squeeze it in sometime today. And the students were working on their chapter 2 topic tests. Lunch, recess, PE. In social studies, we went over the geography terms, but I didn't have time to have the students do a booklet. And then we started the lesson game, but we didn't finish, so we'll work on that later. So for the 40 book challenge, this is the chart that the students will receive. These are the required genres that they need to read from. And they also have some chapter book choice. Mostly the 40 book challenge is based on reading chapter books. There are some exceptions, of course, like for informational books. And also, I do have a category that if they read 5 picture books in the same genre, they can count it as 1 chapter book. So students will get a sheet that looks like this. I do have to edit this one to include a column for date so they can show the date that they read the book or when they finished the book. And they have all the genres here so they can write the title of the book and the author. Now, for me to know whether the students read the book or not, I will have them complete a choice board. Now, this is not available in my TPT store. It looks like it is, but it isn't. It's something that I worked on in the past and I just never finished it. It's still incomplete, but here is a genre requirement, again, in a different format and a different format here. So there's a list here that looks a little bit different as well, but I'm not going to be using this one. And what I do have are these choice boards, which are coming up here. So for fiction books, these are the different choices that students have to show me that they have actually read the book. And here is for informational text, which is nonfiction, the choices for that. A lot of them are similar to the fiction books. And here's the one for poetry, because they do need to read 2 poetry anthologies, which is a book with a collection of poems. And then these are the different options that they have. So here's the idea for a book commercial, which I'm going to revamp and change because I will have the students do their book commercial on Flipgrid. And here's a fiction one-page book report. Here's a book blurb. And here's a different type of book blurb. A reading reflection. A 3-to-1 response for informational text. 3-to-1 response for poetry. Then we have a book review. A reader response letter. Another type of reader response letter because it's based on the different genres. So this one is for poetry. The other ones were for informational text and fiction. Here's a top 10 list that can be used for nonfiction or informational text. Here's a book advertisement, instruction, and a letter to the author. And I believe, yeah, those are the only ones that I have in here. I also have a character analysis that I need to add to this, but these are the different things that students can use. So when they finish a book, they can just go ahead and fill one of those out. And also, our school is in the process of getting Accelerated Reader, or AR, which is a system where students take quizzes based on books that they have read, and they accumulate points based on those. So that is another option. Once we have AR, students can just take an AR test and make sure they have a passing score so that they can be counted as having read that book. All right, so that in a nutshell is all that I have for you for this week. I hope you enjoyed coming along with us. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought or any questions you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile. Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you because you are capable of great things. See you next time.